Welcome back. Time now for the Executive Spotlight with the Gambling Commission. I'm joined in the studio by Andrew Rhodes, the CEO of the Gambling Commission. Andrew, how are you doing?
Very good, thanks. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us in the studio. Do you like it?
It's really nice in here, actually. This is a bit better than our office.
So you're approaching your first anniversary as CEO. How's the last year been for you?
Well, time flies. Actually, I'll have been in the Commission for 2 years this summer. So it's been a busy time. We've had quite a few new people joining us with different ideas, different thoughts, different skills coming into the Commission. There's been a lot going on. Obviously, we've done a lot of work in supporting the government with the Gambling Act Review, white paper, and a lot of engagement with the wider industry during the last sort of 18 months, 2 years. It's been good. It's been full on, but it's been good.
So what are the challenges that you've faced over the last year?
Well, I think it's really two things. Although there's been a lot of consolidation in the gambling industry in the last 2 years or so, we've seen a smaller number of operators having a much larger share of the GB market. Getting around to meet those various chief executives, the trade bodies, different people in the industry, and be able to spread your time across it. And also the challenges of the Gambling Act Review white paper and working on that and trying to steer a course for the Commission really while we're waiting for those bigger policy announcements to happen. We've still got a job of regulation to do, and we've still got the largest online gambling industry in the world to regulate. So steering those courses at the same time has been pretty challenging.
And how do you feel the Commission's relationship with the industry has evolved over the last year? Has it got better since you took charge?
I really like to think it's got better. I mean, the feedback from meeting a lot of chief executives and trade bodies is the relationship has improved. I mean, it's never going to be entirely straightforward or easy. We're the regulator. There have been a lot of cases in recent years of some pretty serious non-compliance, which the industry is keen to see the back of. There's a lot of support around that. So I think the relationship has improved. It's always going to be challenging, particularly when we're waiting for quite big policy announcements. But on the whole, yeah, I would like to think that the industry has improved. It feels very constructive, and it feels like a sensible, open relationship at the moment.
Oh, good. And looking forward to 2023, it looks as though there's a lot of threats, but also opportunities to the industry. Where is the focus for the Commission this year?
I think it's really in 3 places. So early next year, we will start the 4th national lottery license. That was the strongest competition we've had since the lottery started in 1994. It's the first time that the National Lottery will have had a new operator. So that's a big challenge for us. It's a big opportunity for the National Lottery. It's a big thing to get over the line. Within the Commission itself and our relationship with the industry, I've been very focused on something I call compliance at the earliest opportunity. I've been talking to the industry about how we want to see problems solved at a much earlier point. We need to intervene less. We want the industry to own the issues more. And that's something the industry seems keen on, is responding well to. I think bringing that alive in the next year will be a big thing. And of course, the thing that everybody mentions, and I'm sure people will talk about today, and other guests I'm sure have talked about, is the Gambling Act Review white paper. We'd like to see that published now. We understand why things have been delayed. We obviously saw a reshuffle yesterday, which brings some questions for us. I think that will be a big opportunity in terms of clarity around policy and a number of things, and a set of challenges as well. That will probably steer our course for the next maybe 3 to 5 years in terms of the big things that we will need to work on in gambling regulation in this country.
And we've heard a lot about illegal gambling and the threat of that. How much of an issue is this?
Well, in the GB market, we've got the highest channelization, so the most liberalization of anywhere in Europe, probably anywhere in the world. So we find operators in other countries outside GB, and in fact some of the operators from this country who operate in other countries, pointing to that as probably the biggest intervention anyone could make to reduce the likelihood of illegal gambling. We're not complacent about it. There's a lot of work that we will do in the background, that we have a number of criminal investigations at the moment. We have joint operations with other government agencies and bodies, but we haven't yet seen any real heavyweight research that would meet the sort of standards that we would have to meet if we were to make claims about the level of something happening within gambling within GB into illegal gambling. So It's still unclear, but it's bound to be a threat, particularly with the internet, how easy it is to put things out there, how easy it is to market them. We've had a lot of success with internet service providers, with search engines, in reducing the ability, but we still think there's a lot to do, and we'll do that in conjunction with the industry.
And so, can you tell us a little bit more about what the Commission is doing to tackle it?
So we've done a lot of work with search engines like Google to basically reduce recommendations for certain search terms. We've been having joint operations with other government agencies, some of which is obviously confidential. We've got criminal investigations at the moment in relation to supplying equipment and IP. What we're trying to do in the Commission is, rather than chase after individual IP addresses, which we could do forever, and frankly we would never really limit illegal gambling, we're looking at upstream activities to try and disrupt the ability to deliver illegal gambling as much as we can. I think we need to make sure, though, that we recognise that talking about illegal gambling isn't a reason to not improve or maintain standards in the legitimate market. And sometimes I think that is overstated, but that doesn't mean that we don't think illegal gambling is a risk. In fact, we've worked on this for many years. We are putting more resource into it. But of course, if we saw increased compliance in the legal and legitimate market in GB, we could devote more resources to tackling illegal gambling. And that's why I've got a big focus on compliance at the earliest opportunity in the legitimate market, because then I can redirect resources to other places it's needed.
Now, there's been a degree of trepidation in the industry at the prospect of new measures such as affordability checks. How justified do you think that is?
Well, I think things like how government wants to manage financial risk in relation to gambling, I think is a matter for the white paper. But let me be really clear about what the Gambling Commission has and has not done. There's quite a lot of misinformation out there about the Gambling Commission introducing blanket affordability checks, and we simply haven't done that. What we have said is the industry needs to eradicate the extreme cases that we have seen. So somebody losing £70,000 in a single day without any intervention. If you look at the dependence there is for a relatively small number of accounts losing a larger amount of money, then clearly we expect operators to be looking at the risks to customers, not just in relation to their financial position, but a range of factors. And that's always been the case, and that's actually where our focus is. We want to see the most harmful levels of gambling being reduced, and we don't want to see the extreme cases. And that's really where the focus is. So it's not about blanket affordability checks, and there is some real nonsense out there that somebody who deposits a small amount of money is going to have to show their pay slips. I mean, that's just simply not true. But we do need the government's white paper to be published to give it that policy framework in terms of where government wants to see this particular area go.
Okay, we're going to travel in time now, Andrew. We're going to move to the end of this year, the end of 2023. And what are your hopes for the future of the industry?
My hopes for the future of the industry is back to that thing I said about compliance at the earliest opportunity. I think we've got a good relationship with the industry at the moment, but we've got some tricky problems to solve. As we start to see the back of the things that give the industry a bad name, the bad cases, and I do think there's a genuine willingness to do that. As we see the end of that, we're going to be into some challenging things around how the industry pitches itself in that really solid position of being able to go about its business, but do so in a way that doesn't have to involve the regulator. So delivering that compliance at the earliest opportunity, I think, will be an excellent thing. And I think everybody here today, certainly in relation to the GB market, would like to see the white paper published. We see what it says and we get on with delivering it. And I think if we can get those two things in the year, we'll have had a really good year.
Bring on that publication of the white paper.
Yeah, we get why it's delayed, we get the issues, but it's an important event for us. And I work very closely with DCMS and with the ministers that we've had. And I think there's a huge enthusiasm to take that opportunity to review the Act. It's been around a long time, and I think it's a good opportunity for everybody.
Indeed. Thank you for your time, Andrew.
Very much.
Great to have you as a guest in our studio.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the show.
I will do.
So, up next, we go live to the show floor to the Consumer Protection Zone. Join us for that.